Hello again, folks, and it's been a while, but I'm back. I finally picked up some new stuff to review and show for you. Actually, this one I've had for a while, but I'm just getting around to reviewing him. And that's the Night Morpher Commander, Cyber Engine Night Morpher Airborne Squad Awakening, number 98 out of 500. This is Mastermind Creations, a prototype colored version of their Hearts of Steel Seeker mold. I had gotten this picked up from my friend Jun through the San Jose Toy Show. So along with the limited edition figure, because I did get it through the toy show, it did come with postcards with a black and white scene, and then you have the vehicle mode of this Hearts of Steel Seeker and added into the photo, as well as a picture of, hopefully it's turning out well. You can see the Seeker added to the background. It's just a nice little touch that they didn't have to do, but I think it really gives the 1920s steampunk feel to it. But as you can see, the packaging is pretty straightforward. Mastermind Creations, the penguin, the item number, and some basic warnings. I'm ignoring the warnings because if you're buying this figure, the warning should be pretty irrelevant considering at the show it was $100. Aftermarket right now is, I've seen them on eBay anywhere between $150 to $200. I will say, if you want the mold, but you're afraid you're going to be a completionist, it might be better to spend a little more and try to get this one, and I'll get into why. As you can see, his vehicle mode is a Hearts of Steel. I'm going to call it a triplane because it's not really, doesn't have the typical biplane feel. Maybe if this was gone, or this one would gone, it would count. But it's a Guidi design. Really sharp looking, and I mean like sharp edges. Kind of actually reminds me of like a steampunk Batman plane. This mode features propeller spin. The wings can collapse. And that's about it. He does have weapon ports. I don't have the weapons equipped, mainly because I wanted to show them off. Each Seeker has its own weapon if you get the colored versions. But because this is going to be the generic Awakening from Stasis look for him, they decided to include the full weapon set for each one, or for all three. So you can really drive home it's whatever Seeker you want awakening it, to the point that even a few of the ones that are released do actually have the Starscream smirking head. So if you're into looking for variants, keep that in mind when you're looking at the auctions. If it's an open one, check what version of the head it has. I'm fine with the fact that mine has the normal head, and I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to pick up the multicolored ones or not. But we'll get into transformation now. It's actually a fairly simple transformation, but there's some subtle nuances that I want to touch on that I think is really nice that they did, to the point that everything has a lock in place. There is a way to secure every little bit. There's nothing loose, there's nothing wobbly, with the exception of maybe the back fin. There's a little notch and grooves to secure the legs on. There's a really cool tab slot mechanism for these wings, but we'll get into those. First thing you're going to want to do, come up front and pop the legs apart, and then swing them around. Flip in the wheels, and do the same on the other side. Make sure when you're pulling it out, you pull a little bit down first, so that way you disengage the arms from the legs. And again, swing them back, flip in the wheels, and legs come down. Rotate them so they're facing the back of the plane, and flip out the heels and the feet. Same thing on the other side. Flip down the front panel. Now, there's a little panel here you're going to want to flip down. That'll enable it to rotate all the way around without worrying about snapping something. And then pop it back into place. And flip down the leg guards. Next part, you're going to come down under the arms. Pull out these little panels. And here's that little tug and groove section I was talking about, which they're going to note in your transformation, where it just slides in. So that way it secures it in place. It's notched out just to directly fit in that hand, so you get that full feel. And then there's a tab here that plugs into a slot underneath in order to secure the arm in. So you're going to want to disconnect that, and then rotate the arm into a normal place. Come around on the bottom, and flip out the hand. Close her up, and you're good to go on that side. Same thing on the other side, so pop the side, slide down the side guard, flip it down, and flip out the hands. Bring them down, slide up the shoulder guards just a little bit. And the last part's pretty simple. Fold in, disconnect that from there. Fold in the wing panel. Bring it back down. Fold down the entire backpack, which will bring it around to the front to show the little automorph gimmick off. And it'll bring up the little side fins and the head, similar to the original, how the original Seeker had the thruster pods. Rotate the head forward. And now we're going to get into the first personal preference option. And we'll zoom in on the head. Now the head does have fins that you can bring out, which is how the original line art was. And it does have a nice good look to it. However, if you want to go with the more classic Seeker, you can leave them folded back and you get that more traditional Seeker head. So we'll do traditional Seeker head and the big-eared one. I personally actually like the big-eared one just because based on the sharp edges and the design of this figure, I think it works really well. If I end up getting all of them, I will probably have a mix and match set. Some will have, like Starscream will probably have the ears out because I think it gives him that kind of crown look from the movie. The others I'll probably just go with the look that looks more regular Seeker. Now the other personal preference thing that I'm going to note here, and I saw this in Evangelist's review of it, and I kind of like the idea. You can decide kind of where you want the swords / side skirts, and I had to agree with him on the fact that if you put them towards the back, you get a nice coattail look, which I think really works for the character because he is, you know, kind of the roaring 20s fancy gangster steampunk thing, and I think it works really well. At this point, into articulation, head is on a ball joint. Good range of motion up and down. Rotates side to side. You don't get a whole lot of tilt because of the ears, but enough that you can pretty much emote however you want. Shoulders do rotate, though are hindered by the backpack when it's attached. Go all the way out 90 degrees, plus a little more because of the second joint in the shoulder. Bicep rotation. You theoretically, because transformation, get a double jointed elbow. and a little pivot in the wrist, and a rotation at the wrist. Propeller spins, rotation at the waist, forward a little over 90 degrees at the hip, back a little under 90 degrees because of the back panel, full wide splay for the legs going out, rotation just below the thigh, and double jointed knees. And I will point out, this is a good time to mention, there is the kind of Mech Alive gimmick from the movies here. As you bend the knee, the gears inside do rotate. Rotation up and down at the, I guess, we'll call it a toe, but it's more kind of an odd ankle. Ball joint at the toe. Full range of motion. And a little heel movement. Right, so now we'll get into his accessories. As I mentioned earlier, you have the full gambit of guns, and those are all interchangeable and pop on the outside of his arm. And I believe that is the Thundercracker weapon. And then Starscream has the Gatling guns, and then Skywarp is the dual cannons. On top of that, now he does have some hidden features, along with some of you have seen the cannons can combine, and that's not in so much hidden. The other accessory is if you pop off his side skirts, you get a very nice sword. I shouldn't say very nice. It's actually probably one of the weaker looking, and the reason for that, my feeling for that, is because of where you notch out and the extension down. It just doesn't work well, I think, as a sword. However, now be careful with these when you just slide them down, because they are very thin pieces. But you can groove them together, and you get a regular double-sided shuriken. And then the other option, you come around to the back, pop off the rear wings, I'm hoping I remember how to do this right. Groove that one. Flip up the handpiece. The tail end here. Grooves in there. And there's a hole in there. And a peg end here. Oh, wait, never mind. Wrong one. Okay. Sorry, you're going to want that into there. There. Sorry, I'm looking at this at a very odd angle right now. Proving in right. Well, oh well. I'm not going to worry about it too much because otherwise this review will go long. Basically, it pegs together to give you a 4-bladed shuriken. If you want a really good view of this, Pia, this review, or Vangelis' review, and if you're a review watcher, you've probably seen them, actually will show it off a much better way. Now, final review call on this guy. If you like the steampunk aesthetic, get at least one. If you like the Hearts of Steel series, get at least one, or maybe all of them. If you are one of those people who worries if you get one, you're going to get them all. I'm actually hard to say because I have contemplated several times getting all of them because this figure looks so nice. Its articulation is amazing. The build quality is great. Hunting down this one may not be worth it. It's going to be your personal preference. The other ones are going to be about $90 when they're releasing, and Starscream's actually coming out this week. And then the other two are following in November. Some form of this guy, if you can afford it, should be purchased. If you want to go with the limited edition one, go for it. It's your own choice. It's probably not necessary. If you just want the design, pick your favorite Seeker and go with that one. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next time.